Hi everyone, this is Farah and this is Leading by Design, conversations about design and leadership. Thanks for tuning in today. I am so excited about what we are going to discuss. It's one of the topics that is very close to my heart. We are going to talk about challenges of migrating to another country, how to overcome them, and we will share with you some funny moments too. I have amazing Catalina with me here today. Catalina was one of my old colleagues. She's a senior change manager and has worked in multiple large scale corporate that are going through major transformation. She's part of Professional Migrant Women organizations. We are going to talk about that today as well. We were talking the other day, and she told me she's training for her first 10K to run a 10K. And I told her, Catalina, before you know it, you will sign up for half a marathon. You will get runner's high. Thanks for being here, Catalina.
Oh my God. Thank you, Farah, for that introduction. And thank you for inviting me to be part of this podcast. Well, as you mentioned earlier, we met while I was working at NAB. And one of the things I remembered about our first encounter was, well, actually two things. Your accent caught my attention a lot. I just knew that there was a story behind it. And I wanted to hear more and I wanted to talk to you more. And I just felt like, I want to be friends with Farah. So thank you for this
Oh,
opportunity to be
oh.
part of your podcast. And the other thing that got my attention from you was your amazing, stunning, curly brown hair. Like I
Thank
was
you. I get a lot
dying.
of compliments here for my hair, and yeah, thank you. Thanks.
Yeah, I was actually dying to ask you about your hair routine because I'm curly as well, and I
Mhm.
sort of really struggle to keep my curls in good condition, especially
Can
during winter.
you can you believe that you are the fourth colleague at least who's asking me this question? I've created a fit jump board with steps, the process I take, and the product I use. And when people tell me and ask me questions about it, I'm like, here is what I prepared earlier.
Please share that wisdom with me as well, because
Yes,
it's
I
really
will.
hard to keep all these curls like ready. And sometimes people are like, oh, it should be really good to be curly. Just wake up and go. I'm like, eh,
No.
no, it's actually a process, Farah's process that I'm going to be using now.
Yes, I've learned some more the other day. I went to a careless specialist and I learned some more. So I will give you an updated version of my routine.
I love it. Thank you, Farah. So let's get back to the topic because we can
Yeah.
do a whole podcast about our hair, having
I guess
curly
we
hair.
can have another one about that. I'm sure many colleagues would be interested. As I told you, you are the fourth one, so we can do
Uh,
that too.
we can do that. So,
All right. Uh,
yeah,
let's start with telling us about yourself, Catalina. Where are you from? When did you come to Australia? Tell
love.
us
So
more.
that's good. I'm Catalina. I'm probably born and raised in Colombia. I first came to Australia in 2014 when I was only 26, just to learn English and travel around the country, and also spend time backpacking across Southeast Asia.
Mhm.
The original plan was to head back to Colombia after that adventure, and I did it for a while. But in 2018, I returned to Australia, and I have been here ever since. It's been
Nice.
almost 8 years now,
Yeah.
and I have truly sort of built a life here.
Mhm.
Professionally, I work as a senior change manager, as you mentioned. Most of my roles focus on leading transformation and driving system adoption, and I have been in the change space for almost 12 years now.
Oh, wow.
Honestly, yeah, it's a
Yeah.
lot now. And I
Mm.
can say that sort of navigating change has been a constant part of my life, both personally and also professionally. So
Mm.
that's
So
me.
you have all the tools available. You're professionally skilled for it.
I try to. I
Mm.
try to. I have put together a little bit of a also process of okay, this is what I'm feeling in my personal life, and I'm a change practitioner.
Yeah.
How is that going to be part of my own challenges? Yeah,
Yeah, I've realized some of the skills I have, I use in my, like I use in work are applicable to life as well. And I gradually, without even knowing, I use them and like created that mindset of trial and error and learn and change, like test and learn sort of approach. I understand when you say
yeah.
you use your skills in that. You mentioned you made a bit of a life here for yourself. Do you consider Australia home yet or not?
Wow, that's a big question, Farah. I wish I could give you a bold yes,
Mm-hmm.
but the truth is, it is a no. I don't feel that Australia is home in the deepest sort of sense of the word.
Mm-hmm.
Let me explain, because this specific thought has stayed with me constantly
Mm-hmm.
from the moment that I wake up to the moment I fall asleep. I have spent years, even since I left Colombia, trying to answer that question for myself.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Look, I have realized that home is so much more than just a place.
Mm-hmm.
And when I speak about Colombia, my voice still shakes a little. I mean, it's been 8 years, but
Mm-hmm.
I feel a deep emotional and spiritual connection to Colombia, and I feel like I belong there. I don't need to explain myself. There is
Yeah.
some sort of comfort and privilege in that.
Yeah.
Um, in Colombia, I have a support system. I have a roof over my head that doesn't depend solely on me. And I
Mm-hmm.
have my mom, my dad, they
Mm-hmm.
care for me. But not just them. I have my brother, uncles, aunties, cousins. It's impossible to feel alone in Colombia. There is always
Yeah.
family meetings. There is always a relationship that feels warm. People around gossiping, going to gossiping is a really important part of my culture.
I
Sim-
understand that.
yeah,
I am
sim-
the same.
I love to hear that. It's not only Colombians, also.
Yeah, nah, it's part of my culture too.
Yeah. But I guess in Australia, I feel something different. I
Mm,
feel myself. I feel seen.
mm.
I feel heard. I feel safe. That's really
Yeah,
important. Feel
yeah,
safe. And I feel accepted.
yeah. I know
And
it.
also not judged,
Mm,
right?
mm,
And I'm proud, and I'm extremely proud of who I have become here.
mhm,
And that's why it is hard for me to say that Australia is not my home either,
mm,
because it is. I'm a happier person in Australia.
mm. Yeah.
And and I have come to understand that home is sort of wherever I am,
Mm,
surrounded with people that makes me feel grounded and real,
mm,
and where I can sort of sleep peaceful, knowing that I'm true
mm.
to myself. So home could be anywhere, everywhere. Could
Yeah.
be Italy, Brazil, you name it, as
Mhm,
long as I feel that I'm happy with myself
mhm.
and around me I have people that actually care about me, then I'm home.
Yeah, that's true. I was reading a book a while back, and there was a sentence in there that resonated with me. Your country is not where you land, but it's where you launch. I have the same feeling. Like I have patriotic feeling to my country, and I miss it and all of that. And sometimes I think about all the stuff we had back then. But definitely Australia is where I launched. Is where I got. I have the life I have, and I probably wouldn't have it if it wasn't here.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that you feel seen here and you are safe and all that. What was the main reason you came to Australia? People ask that a lot from me, and I always say it's having a better life. What was it for you?
Wow, I love all these questions. They're getting into all my core values and feelings.
Yeah,
I will start, Farah, with the networking friendly corporate answer
yeah,
that most of people in my professional circle have heard.
yeah,
I came to Australia to study a master's in business,
yeah.
which I successfully completed
Mm,
at one of the most well recognized universities in the country. Um, and after that, some amazing work opportunities came my way, and I honestly couldn't say no.
mm,
So I stayed, and that's the neat, polished version of why I'm in Australia. But well, today I feel comfortable enough to share the real and raw answer with you, because I think it's important to stay true to ourselves, and it's been also almost 7 years since I came now.
mhm,
So I came to Australia for love.
mhm.
I took the biggest risk of my life. I
Oh,
left my family, my stable
mm,
career, a comfortable and sort of privileged life, and a
mhm.
great job at a well known telecommunications company in Colombia, all to follow love.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But long story short,
Yeah.
that love story, that love dream turned out to be a nightmare.
Oh,
Yeah, pretty quickly I realized that the fairy tale I was imagining only existed
mm,
in my head,
yeah.
and everything I believed about love and family was suddenly shaken.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, and so I started to feel sort of trapped
Mm,
by what society sort of expected of me as an engaged woman.
mm-hmm,
Um, and I say, no, I refuse, Farah. And I think I still refuse to believe that love should come wrapped in sacrifice, silence,
mm-hmm,
disrespect, or dishonesty.
mm-hmm,
So that just wasn't going to be my life. I guess being a homemaker in a situation like that wasn't enough for me. And it definitely wasn't my purpose in Australia.
mm-hmm,
I didn't want to be the wife in yet another dysfunctional story, pretending to be happy at the cost of my own joy and growth
mm-hmm.
as a woman. So and look, Farah, don't get me wrong, we are all humans. We all make mistakes, but
Yeah.
when a mistake keeps happening, it's
Mm-hmm,
not just a mistake anymore, it's a
mm-hmm,
decision. And if
mm-hmm.
someone's decisions are making you miserable, why to stay?
Yeah,
Mm,
that's wise. Yeah.
mm. So some people call me crazy or call me, oh, you're too selfish. You're against everything we have.
Mm,
Grow up thinking we should do as as women. But I call myself a feminist, and I will probably say it. I'm a feminist, and so no, coming to Australia for a sort of mediocre love wasn't going to be my story, and
yeah,
I knew my story will be different.
yeah.
So I came to Australia for love,
Mm.
but what I found here was the most powerful love of all. I have learned, Farah, to love myself.
Oh, that's amazing. Good on you.
Yeah, and the most important thing is to love myself through the darkness and also the brightest parts of this journey.
Oh, wow. We are going to talk about all of that, the proud moments, the funny moments, all
Mm.
of that. Amazing. Thanks for that, Catalina. I know you are part of Professional Migrant Women institutions. Can you tell me about your role there, or and also about the institution itself?
Sure. So that it's all beautifully linked. So um, identifying myself as a feminist completely reshaped my understanding of my own life, right? And and understanding the what was that kept me going
Mhm.
when everything else felt sort of uncertain, right?
Mhm.
And I have met the most incredible people on my journey,
Mhm.
people who are not just friends, but also chosen family. And together we have created beautiful things,
Mhm.
supporting each other, lifting each other up, and sort of reminding one another that we are not alone.
Mhm.
And so coming back to the point of being a feminist,
Mhm.
when I moved to Australia, it became even clearly to me that if we were going to talk about a real feminism, we needed to talk about equality and, more importantly, accessibility and opportunities.
Mhm.
So for me, real feminism is grounded in one bold truth.
Mhm.
When you have access to money, you have
Mhm.
freedom.
Yeah.
When you control your own money, you
Mhm.
control your own life.
Yeah.
And so when you are financially independent, you
Mhm.
can make better decisions for yourself and
Mhm.
you are no longer to stay in places or relationships that harm you.
Yeah.
So, and it all links together. And I want to be clear, it wasn't my personal struggle, but I was incredible privileged to have the time in Australia to and the space to observe, to reflect, to understand different systems and cultures, and sort of see the world with different fresh eyes, and sort of get out of my own little bubble that I was in Colombia. And
Mhm.
I sort of have this opportunity to understand how important the identifying myself as a feminist and helping other uh, women to find this freedom was important, right? And
Mhm.
so I guess when you don't have that independence that I'm talking about, well, women tend to get stuck doing what their family, their partner, or their culture expect them to do,
Mhm.
simply because they are supporting them. And it's not only financially; it's also emotionally and socially too. And this is not just like some random story I'm telling. This is the story of thousands of women across the
Mhm.
world.
Mhm.
Um, um, Women with big dreams and incredible potential who are told to be grateful instead of powerful and to
Mhm.
sacrifice their goals in order to build someone else's version of family or life.
Mhm.
And that for me is not freedom, right?
Mhm.
That's control.
Mhm.
And that's control often wrapped in love, guilt, or tradition.
Mhm.
So I guess true empowerment starts with freedom to choose your path and not the one that someone else designed for you.
Mm.
And
And
that's,
you're doing all of that through that institution for other women. That's pretty powerful.
yeah, and it comes all together because how do you get that financial independence? Through money. And
Mm.
that's why money matters. And how do you get access to money? Well, the only way I know is through work,
Yeah, a
but
good
not
job. Yeah.
yeah, but not just any work. I
Mm.
mean work in an environment that values you, recognize you,
Mm.
see your skills, and pay you fairly and legally for your effort and education. And so that is where professional migrant women organization came into my life. And my good friend Fabiola brought the idea of helping migrant women to land their first job in Australia
Mhm.
because that was the first step into corporate life. And it isn't just about a simple payslip or the money, but it's also about belonging. It's
Mm.
about becoming part of the society that you have
Mm.
been sort of chosen to live in. And it's about reclaiming your identity, your
Mhm.
voice, and your future. So,
Mm.
to answer your question, PMW is an organization that supports migrant women to overcome employment barriers so they can
Mhm.
feel actually financially independent, hence have freedom in their decisions.
Mm.
PMW provides professional development, career progression, leadership opportunities, and creates a space for real connection
Mhm.
and uh, social participation,
Mm.
right? It's not only me trying to go to cash my first job in Australia, but it's me being part of something
Yeah.
that is bigger.
Yeah. That feeling
Mhm.
of belonging, as you said, is pretty important. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. So I
So,
have
are you
probably
one of the founders? Did you start the whole organization, or you just joined and were part of what kind like what existed before?
Yeah, that's a good question. I was going to explain a little bit of my role there as well. I have been part of BMW since the beginning. I have probably contributed as a mentor, as a
Mhm.
volunteer, as a workshop coordinator, and as an advisor for the core team. Uh,
Mhm.
and with 6 years now in the market, BMW has become more than just organization. So it has been now being led and chaired by Fabiola, Diana, and Lina. They are the three sort of basis of BMW as an organization itself. And now they have created something that is much more than an organization itself. I think it's a movement. And I'm part of this sisterhood, as I said before, in these specific
Mhm.
roles. Um, I think it's just a place where we can stand beside each other and say, you know, you also belong here too, and you're not alone. Your journey is similar to mine.
Mm.
So here we are.
That's really important and powerful. I myself, when I first came to Australia, I found it hard to find my feet and get started. It's really good that you have that in place. I kept saying Professional Migrant Women Institution. So it's an organization. My bad.
That's all right.
Working there, you must have seen a lot of women to come to find their feet and all that. What's the common challenge that most women are facing when they first come to Australia?
Hmm. Okay. So the challenges that migrant women are facing that goes far beyond just cover letters, job applications, resumes, and getting my first job. What
Mhm.
we have seen in that is specifically across the psychological and emotional factors of being a migrant. And that is the key, the well-being, how I feel safe and not only self, but emotional stable
Mhm.
to, I guess, not only survive, but also thrive in this new country. So
Mhm.
there are key difference between a migrant building a professional career or ending up stuck in survival mood or jobs that
Mhm.
don't reflect their skills or potentials, right?
Mhm.
There is a lot
Yeah.
of potential. Um, Most of us have masters, but but at the beginning it's hard to get to that job that, as I say as I said before, will pay you right for all your education. So
Mhm.
at BMW, the workshops, the events that they do, the activities are more focuses also in building self-confidence,
Mhm.
self-knowledge, and a healthy relationship with change.
Mhm.
And that's really important because when you do that, that helps reduce the the gap between um, I'm being successful or I'm just surviving.
Mhm.
And let me put my change manager expert hat here, um, Farah, and deep dive in this idea.
Mhm.
The migration experience itself is incredibly challenging. It's
Mhm.
really hard, and it places many women in in vulnerable situations.
Mhm.
Um, and what are the common challenges there? Dealing with lack of opportunities, discrimination at the workplace,
Mhm.
financial hardship, isolation, mental health struggles, and in some cases, domestic violence.
Mm,
So actually why I believe um, there needs to be a great understanding of the psychological um, implications that
mhm,
migrants go through, and that's a change curve.
mm,
And that's how I understand this. And when you were asking me at the beginning, have you sort of have tools that you use in your professional life to put it together and say, like, oh, this is what's happening when you decided to move countries?
mm,
Yes, because when um, someone changed countries or migrated to another country, they are not just moving across borders. I think
mm,
they are also stepping into the unknown, rebuilding their
mm.
identity, and starting
Yeah,
over from zero in so many ways. So
yeah,
this process itself, Farah, involves grief.
yeah.
And I'm going to be a little bit of an academic here, but according to the Kubler-Ross grief cycle, really interesting theory there. A person that moves and that is facing grief moves through six different stages:
Oh,
denial, anger,
mm-hmm,
depression,
mm-hmm.
bargain, and finally acceptance.
Ah,
And yes, we as migrants experience all those
mm,
stages too.
mm,
Not necessarily because we have lost someone, but because we have left behind a life,
mm-hmm.
a home, a
Yeah.
language, a community,
Mm,
and a version of ourselves
mm-hmm.
that we may never fully return to.
Yeah.
And spoiler alert, you're never going to return to that person
Mm,
that you were when you left your country.
yeah, true.
So, what do we need to do? So, these are the barriers, these are the challenges, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, information, communication, emotional support,
Mm,
guidance, um, it's all these tools that you can
mm-hmm.
put together to
Mm-hmm.
be successful in this new life. And PMW, Professional Migrant Women, during almost 6 years now, has been doing an incredible work.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and they have shown us how powerful it is when women feel seen,
Mm-hmm.
supported, and surrounded by others who believe in them.
Mm, yeah.
And that's where transformation happens. And
Mm.
that's why this work, I guess, matters so deeply to all of us that are part of BMW.
Yeah, that's an amazing program to have, and I'm very happy to have the opportunity to talk about it here and raise awareness for those who might need a program like this. One of my colleagues, she's in Sydney, and there is a group of people. They run sessions. They call it therapy for designers. They come and talk about their problems and all that, and I asked her what's the most common one. One of the most common one was women who come from another country and trying to find their feet, and that's how I thought about this podcast to begin with. I'm hoping this can help them and raise awareness, and they can find the help they need. Um, I was reading, scrolling down LinkedIn the other day, and I saw one of your posts, and there was a line there that was very inspiring and resonated with me. You wrote, "Migrant women are not just adapting, they are leading." I guess there is a bit of a proud moment there. Can you tell me a bit more about it?
Yes, yes. And thank you for picking up on that because like, I'm going to tell you another truth here. um, I think when I was writing that post, I was feeling that I don't want to be the token of representation anymore. I don't want to be invited to the table just to tick off a diversity box to
Mm,
make the room look more inclusive because, hey, we have got a Latina
mm,
and she's a woman.
mm,
No, that's not enough.
mm,
Well, I do appreciate being in the room,
Mm-hmm.
but I will appreciate more when I am part of the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
want to be sitting right there where the decisions are being made.
Mm-hmm.
Not because I'm Latina or because I'm a migrant or because I'm a woman, because I deserve to
Mm-hmm.
be there, because I have studied hard, I have worked hard, and prepared myself enough so I'm capable.
Mm-hmm.
And because I have a brain that, yes, speaks with an accent, and maybe that could make some people feel uncomfortable,
Mm-hmm.
but that brain also makes strong executive level decisions every day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I want
Mm-hmm.
other women out there, especially migrant women who look like me,
Mm-hmm.
sound like me, to see that it is possible
Mm-hmm.
because representation matters.
Mm-hmm.
We just don't want to sit at a table to decorate the picture.
Mm-hmm.
We want a voice. We want to lead.
Mm-hmm.
I guess not with pretty speeches, but with facts, with skills, with results. So that's what I meant when I said migrant women are not just adapting, but we are leading. We are
Yeah.
here and we are not waiting for a permission anymore. We don't want to be invited to a party just to see everyone dance. I want to dance
Mm-hmm.
and be
Yeah.
part of the
That
party.
makes sense. That's a nice story, nice yeah, lesson there. I totally understand and resonate with it. Um, Speaking of all that, leads me to my next question, which is, what do you think, from your experience, different culture bring to the table, um, especially in leadership roles?
The contributions of migrant women include fresh perspective, flexible thinking, and exceptional cultural and linguistic abilities.
Mm-hmm.
Research shows that companies with minimal gender and ethnic diversity in executive teams are 20% more likely to underperform compared to their peers. So there is value there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm taking all this data from a PMW impact report that PMW did in 2023, when we actually share data of how important it is to have a diverse workforce and all the benefits of this sort of programs that we have put together out in the market. So if anyone have the opportunity to come across to the impact report that is in the web page, professional migrant woman.com.au, you can see more interesting data there. Um, with almost 30% of Australians born overseas, as per data of 2021, Australian organizations are uniquely positioned to have a rich diversity. So there is still work to do, and there is awareness of where we're going. That, however, the full potential of this diverse talent pool remains untapped and is sort of evidenced by nearly 40% of the people that participating in this report feeling stuck or overqualified in these positions, seeking rather support for employers. So I'm getting too technical here, but when you go and talk to executive directors, and when someone asks you, what are the benefits of having a migrant women or a diverse workforce are, well, you need to talk with data, and you need to tell, hey, it's not only that having migrants that are part of the community, that have meaningful connections, foster the whole community itself, um, helps everyone around for their individual perspective, but also their families and their communities, and being participant of the economic of the country is positive. But also there is data that says that, hey, having a diverse workforce actually has more benefits, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the point here, Farah, is like, again, coming back to the point, I am part of the diverse workforce, right? You and me, we are there, but are we being heard?
Mm-hmm.
it's my opinion as valuable as someone else. So
Yeah.
that's when all this work that PMW is doing is really important because okay, you got your job,
Hmm.
but also how you success there, and how we're going to make this your career important not only for yourself but for your community and for the organization you work for.
Well, amazing work there. You guys must be very proud of yourself. You should be. Um, so my next question is about a proud moment. Speaking of being proud, um, tell me about a proud moment in your journey that you look back and said, "Well done. I've done great."
That's a beautiful question, Farah. I think I have a couple. But
Hi.
the first one is a couple of little moments that
Yeah.
have shaped my journey, and I feel really proud. But
Hmm.
I think that one of the most important was when I finished my master's.
Hmm.
Um, only because when I started,
Yeah.
I was going to the classrooms and I didn't understand anything that has been said. I was like, what am I doing here in this classroom? Everyone speaks so fast. They're
Yeah.
talking about so many things, and I was there lost. I don't know if I'm going to be able
I know
to
that feeling.
actually do this. I mean, what? A master's in English. I mean, in a second language for me, made
Mhm.
English in business.
Yeah.
God. So when I got my master's finalized and I had all these assignments done, and I got my little certificate, I was like, oh my God, I made it. So that was a
Well
proud moment.
done. You must be proud, definitely. Tell me, give me one more. Tell me one more.
Um, and one more, I think I can. I have the feeling in my mind. I don't specifically remember the exact meeting when this happened, but when I got my second professional role in a financial institution here in Melbourne, I went to a meeting and I led that meeting from the beginning to the end, and maybe from everyone else that is a change manager, project manager, designer, or anything. Leading those workshops is just a day-to-day thing, and it becomes an easy thing to do. And every day is just the same thing. But for me, my first workshop or my first change impact assessment meant a lot. I was like, I'm actually doing this in another country, in a financial institution, speaking
Mhm.
my second language. Like, I'm
Mm.
happy, I'm proud, and I did it. And I think it's a little moment, as I said before. Everyone has their own proud moments, but I feel like if I can do this, I can do everything else.
Yeah, I know. Now that's amazing. And I'm hoping those who listen, they see themselves and find themselves in those words, you know. If you feel lost and if you feel like you don't belong or anything like that, it won't be like that always. There you will get there and you would be proud of what you've done. All right, we talked about a lot of heavy topics. Let's talk about some funny stories you had in workplace or in Australia, something you think back and still smile or laugh
Mm.
at.
Yeah, well, I have so many of those moments too, Far. Like
Me too.
every day of my life in Australia is a comedy show because crazy things happening all the time. Oh
Give
God.
me one of good vibes.
Yeah. Um, it always comes to probably the language barrier. I have an accent. I love my accent, as we say in PMW. My accent is my superpower, but sometimes it comes across and make me have a couple of difficult situations. So I'm in this restaurant, first time for me eating out with everyone from the bank. And I was so proud of myself and happy. Yeah, here I am enjoying my first lunch with all these very important people. And the waitress came and she was like, what do you want to order? And I say, I want a cheeseburger. believe I say a cheeseburger. She went out, she was doing her thing, and then she came back to the table with this huge cheese platter. Like huge. It was like a cheese platter for 25 people. It was cheese and crackers and grapes and chocolates. And she was like, "Who ordered a cheese platter?" And I'm like, um, and I thought I were literally someone else's order. And I was like ignoring this person, like, "Oh, look at me." And then she goes like, "Oh, you ordered a cheese platter." And I'm like, and I'm so like, "Oh my God, I'm freaking out. What do I do? Act normal. Don't be suspicious." And I'm like, "I actually ordered a cheeseburger." And someone in the table was kind enough to understand how awkward I was feeling and the
Yeah,
situation was making me feel. And she was like, "Oh, everyone wants cheese Prada anyway, so we're gonna share this." But for me, it was just a little uncomfortable, funny moment, and I was just
yeah,
like, "Oh, the workers was also trying to do, I guess, their best job." But for
yeah,
me, I was still in that awkward moment of I'm trying to find myself and recognize myself in a second language. And I'm in a professional environment, so I want to be perfect. And
yeah.
then this happened. So I was like, "Oof."
Yeah, I have a lot of that. One of the funny ones I think about that is less was less awkward for me when I first came to Australia. I was a swim teacher because I needed a job to pay my bills while I'm finding my feet and all that. And I was teaching all these, kids from school, 10 years old or 7 years old. And I was in one of my classes, and my accent was worse than it is now. We don't have TH sound. You need to put your tongue in between your teeth
Yeah.
when you pronounce it. I was pronounce it the same as T. So at the end of the class, I said, "Thank you, everyone. Class is over." And one of the kids said, "Oh, you said thank you. You didn't say thank you." I was like, "Get out. Class is over."
Don't correct me during my own class.
Yeah. Yes. And moms, it was at the end, the parents were just waiting outside the pool to grab the kids and all that, and they were smiling a bit and
It's,
um,
yeah, there's so many moments like that. And I remember Farah being too hard on myself.
yeah,
I was like, I want to pronounce perfectly. I want to be grammatically perfect all the time. And then, I remember people telling me, "Oh, it's okay. We understand you." And I was like, "No, but it's not like you understand me. I want to be perfect." But
yeah,
then at some point now, I have to accept the fact
yeah,
that I have an accent
yeah,
and we are incredibly smart to do our jobs in another language. And
yeah.
I'm like, I have sort of made peace with it. And
Yeah, so communication skills are the most important thing when it comes to workplace. And sometimes, yeah, I felt the same, especially at the start. I felt the same. I was so embarrassed. I'm going to mispronounce something and all that. But it goes beyond just how you say things, It's being concise, being to the point, understanding, listening and understanding what people are saying, summarizing and making sure they understand that you understood what they said. So if you tick these boxes and are strong in those fields, then a bit of a pronunciation mistake or grammar mistake here and there wouldn't be a big deal because you already ticked bigger boxes, more important boxes by covering other important aspects of communication.
yeah, yeah, 100%. I agree with you. It's
But it
when
doesn't
you,
stop you when you're new, doesn't stop you feel that way.
exactly, that was what I was thinking when you arrive to Australia and people are talking to you, and then you're like, "Oh my God." So you don't think. like everything that we are sharing here comes from experience of years,
Yeah,
understanding ourselves, working in different organizations, and feeling comfortable with this new world that we are into, right? But someone that has just
exactly.
landed only walks to a McDonald's
Mm,
and they're like, "Hi, you want a Coke with your meal?" And I'm like, "A what with my meal? A Coke with my meal?" And in Colombia, we don't have meals, we have combos. It's more like the
um,
American way of saying it, like a combo includes chips, fries, and Coke. And
mm,
here, a Coke with my meal. I was so confused even walking through a McDonald's. And I
mm.
remember always getting the wrong thing and just eating it because I'm not going to go and fight for my cheeseburger again.
Oh, all these food and funny stories. Oh
Okay.
gosh. All right. To a bit of a more serious topic. Have
Mhm.
you ever hit a brick wall in your journey and you told yourself, ah, Australia is not for me. I'm going back. And if yes, how you overcome it? What kept you going?
Yeah, Farah, I usually hit that dark place every winter. I'm like, what am I doing here?
Too cold. I want to go home.
Seriously, I wasn't born or built for this weather. I come from the tropical side of the world. My city is not warm, but it's not as cool as it is here.
Yeah.
But no, look, I think feeling lonely is
Mm,
one of the biggest things for me in Australia.
mm,
As I said at the beginning, it's impossible to feel alone in Colombia. There is
mm,
always something happening. There is uh, a family meeting, friends, people around, someone that you can go talk to. So one of the things that I sort of miss the most here is like in a random Sunday, go to my auntie house or my brother's house, grab a cup of coffee, talk to them.
mm,
So when I have feel the loneliest is when have decided to, oh, maybe this is not for me. Why I'm here?
mm,
But then I remember all the beautiful things that I say at the beginning because I feel
mm,
seen, I feel happy, I feel that I can be myself in Australia. And
mm,
so I wanted to stay. And
mm,
the opportunities that I have here from a professional point of view are better than the ones that I have in Colombia. The work culture here is better. I need to work less hours to
mm,
make more even more money than the one that I was making back in Colombia. Um, so the culture here of well-being is better than in
mm,
Colombia. So it's like, oh, I want to be here. I can travel more. I can enjoy my free time. There is a work-life balance that I really appreciate in the corporate Australia. If we compare that with Colombian uh, corporate values. So I just remind myself of the reasons why I'm here.
mm,
And after thinking about it, I found I sort of tried to look for mentors that have inspired me, right?
mm,
It is hard to be here, but it's also good. So let's focus on the positive.
mm,
I remember all these people that have been an important part of my journey. I remember, for example, my dad, that with when I was living with in my family house, I I don't have a memory of my dad complaining like, "Oh, it's too hard. We don't have enough money or anything like that." He was always super positive. I never get to knew if that we were facing or not anything in my life. So I feel like having that memory of my dad being super positive and super
mm,
finding a solution for every problem and say like, "Oh, there is not an issue. We're gonna get this problem solved." He was never worried. Probably he was, but he never showed
it
me that.
never showed, yeah. Mm,
So having that positive mentor in my life, someone that in Spanish we say echado para delante, which means like I'm always going forward. I'm not going back.
mm,
So that makes me, when I'm feeling sad or when I feel that I don't want to be here, Australia is not meant for me because it's cold, because I feel alone. or lonely. I remember my dad. I remember my mom that has been there with us from the beginning, supporting us, and yeah, and so and I also feel that having a strong um, spiritual connection to whatever you believe in,
Mm,
it's also important.
mm,
So I do have a really strong spiritual connection within my own religion. So I think it's important to have something to hold into, and
yeah.
that can be in the shape or form of your own values, people
Mm,
that you love, or your spiritual connection with
mm.
towards something or someone.
Yeah, that's right. Thanks for that. That was an amazing answer. You talked about your mentors. What else inspired you through your journey?
Ooh, that's a beautiful question, Farah. I think what has inspired me to my journey is all these incredible women that have been showing up in different stages of my journey,
Mhm,
from my grandmother till my mom, my friends, and everyone from that um, women's circle that has been around me has inspired me to be the person I am, to call myself a feminist.
mhm,
Um, Even my dad. Um, it's all these figures that have shaped the person I am at the moment. And why women also? Because I can see in them how resilient we are, how we keep breaking stereotypes, how we can hold each other in solidarity and feel like we're not alone and we are also facing the same issues or facing the same struggles, right?
mhm,
So BMW gave me the opportunity to meet with people that were or they share the same values as me. Um, so yeah, I think I appreciate every woman that has been part of my journey and that have taught me something that I can relate to in my own way.
mm. Yeah, we people, it's very important who you are surrounded with, people who lift you up, who, support you. And I've been lucky. I had a lot of people like that around me especially at NAB who helped me with my career. Um, So we are coming towards the end of our conversation. It has been amazing chatting with you. I have a couple of last questions. What has been the workplace culture shock for you? For me, it was the fact that people weren't very direct when they wanted to talk to you or give you feedback. They were very political and beat around the bush sometimes. And where I come from, like people give it to you. This is the truth and in a direct way. What was the culture shock
Hmm.
for you at workplace?
I have to say that I totally share what you have said. The communication and the way that we communicate it has been a shock to me as well. Um, in my culture, there is only one way of being, and it's being direct. That is
Mm,
not going around things. We
yeah,
say what we like, and we
yeah,
just say it. Mm, so I have learned to be able to communicate with my team. I need to sort of speak the Australian way or the English
yeah.
way. I think it's an English thing. It's not even the Australian way; it's an English thing. And how you try to be more uh, diplomatic in the way
Mm,
that you speak.
yeah,
I don't think I have lots of dip- being diplomatic in
yeah,
myself itself. I'm just the person I am, and I can be a little bit sometimes. I have come across as being too raw or too direct, and just
yeah.
saying things without filter. So it's a shock. Another shock is that Australians are obsessed with talking about weather or I have never talked about weather as much. And in Colombia, we never talk about weather.
Yeah, it's the same in Iran because weather is very consistent over there, you know? Like it I never had a weather app. I never checked what the weather is going to be. Highly likely it's going to be the same as today.
Exactly. And I was like, oh, it's raining. Oh, it's cold. And I'm like, oh. And so even in PMW, where we were teaching newcomers to talk about the weather. Ah, you want to break the ice? Talk about the weather.
Weather,
Easy.
yeah, it's a good small talk for sure. Yeah.
Lot, yeah, that's true. Also, lots of small talk, which I have now learned. But
Mm.
yeah, it wasn't as easy at the beginning.
Yeah, you get used to it, don't you? I definitely have. Sometimes I'm the one who start talking about the weather, you know, completely.
Now,
Uh,
now it's part of my identity to talk about
yeah,
the
now
weather.
it's part of me.
God night.
All right, one more question for you. What advice do you give to your past self when you just started and you came to Australia?
Wow, that's a beautiful way to sort of wrap up this amazing conversation that we have had. Um, One advice that I will give to myself, but also to any other a migrant woman that is coming to Australia, the first, I have a couple of advices, but the first one is to be kind to yourself.
Mhm,
Migrating, starting over, building a new life is not easy. So
mhm,
please don't expect perfection from yourself. I
mhm,
think we are doing something incredibly brave.
mhm,
Um, so just be kind to yourself. The second advice that I still that is now part of what I do
mhm,
as as part of my life is that I surround myself with positive people.
mhm.
It is important to find a community that makes you feel that you belong,
Yeah.
whether it's through volunteering, local programs, running, finding a club that does something that you like.
Mm,
Having that support networks, like in this specific case that we have been talking about, professional migrant women, is important. Connection is
mhm.
everything. So
Yeah.
I will say, Catalina, don't isolate yourself. You
Mm,
don't need to do this alone.
mm.
Find people that share your same values and build a community.
Yeah, amazing. That's a great advice.
Yeah. And I guess the third, because I said I have a couple, but the third one
Yeah, go for
is,
it.
yeah, I think, and this is the most important one that I still repeat to myself every morning is trust the process.
Mm,
Progress takes time, right?
yeah.
Healing takes time. We were talking about how the migration journey is actually a grief, a
Mm,
change curve that we need heal through it. So healing takes time, adapting takes time, but you are growing in ways that you can't always see right away,
mm,
right? So I often say the migration journey, and now that we start also talking about me running my first 10K, which
mm.
has been crazy, and I cannot see how my time is getting better, but I'm going to trust the process.
Yeah.
Um, Let me finish by this is something that I have said in other scenarios when I have talked about the migration processes that or the journey is that changing countries and doing all this is like participating in a triathlon.
Mm,
No one tells you that it's a triathlon at the beginning. You
mm.
think it's only a marathon. It's
Yeah.
just one race. So
Yeah.
you begin running, right?
Yeah.
Pushing hard to get to your first job.
Yeah.
That's the first run. Find a home, make friends, settle into a new culture. And when you have done all that in this first run, that you are like, oh, this is only a marathon. I run 25K. I'm ready. I'm happy. Well, guess what? Remember, this is a triathlon. So now you start swimming. You are trying to stay afloat in a completely different professional environment. You are learning way to speak, how to report, talking about the weather, how to belong at work, how just don't look different to everyone else. And now you were tired of running, and now you're swimming because you need to survive all that. And
Yeah.
just when you are cashing, sort of taking, oh, okay, now I know how to swim. It's okay, I found it. Now you're catching your breath, and then you are like, okay, I'm happy. Now you need to start cycling
Mm,
because you have survived, but now it's time to thrive, to
mm,
grow, to
mm,
lead, because
mm,
you want to be a leader, because you have learned so much in the running and the swimming that
yeah.
now you need to start cycle to be
Mm.
to be thriving, right? So that's what I think
Oh,
of
that's
the
a
journey.
very nice analogy. I like it. So basically, yeah, it's like a triathlon. You need to do all that for different reasons. I totally agree. That,
Exactly. And so the important thing is that you don't need to do this alone, right?
mm,
You
yeah,
have built, you need to be surrounded with the right circle. You will have your mentors, your cheerleaders, your
mm,
friends, um, handing some water, cheering you up when you need
yeah,
them the most. So eventually you will look back and say, I did it. And now I feel like I'm home, or I am my own home, but I did it
yeah.
all.
Yeah, amazing, amazing. I thoroughly enjoyed our conversation, Catalina. Lots of moments that I 100% resonated, pictured myself, remembered, my
Mm,
own situation in the when I first came to Australia, and still today all the challenges and everything. For those who are listening, and sometimes you might feel down or not as much inspired, yeah, listen to all this great advice that Catalina gave us and get going. Surround yourself with positive people and yeah, just you don't have to do it alone. Nobody has. Thank
yeah.
you so much, Katarina, for being with me here today. It has been an amazing conversation. I really enjoyed it.
Thanks, Farah. I really, really appreciate these spaces when we can talk and be just true to ourselves. And I have had an amazing afternoon with you. You still need to share with me the process of getting those beautiful corals ready every morning.
I will.
And yeah, well, so happy to reconnect with you.
Yeah, the same here. And I do this, and I'm like, if it changes one person's life, I've done my job. So hopefully, somebody finds something useful within this conversation and help them out somehow. Enjoy the
Amazing.
rest of your day, and I will catch you later.
Thank you. Bye bye.